Hi everyone, welcome to April's developer update. Let's have a quick look at what I got done during the month. First things first, the latest update was released. So Mayor Merits is now out there in the wild and ready for everyone to play. I'm not going to dwell too much on that update. I think I covered it quite a bit in March's developer update, but essentially that was one of the bigger kind of updates that I wanted to do alongside the narrative update that was released, where some quite big changes happened in terms of the progression in the game and all of the onboarding and stuff like that. With the Mayor Merits update, a whole bunch of progression problems and issues that were caused with the way things were set up previously have now been hopefully resolved, and there's a whole new bunch of stuff for players to do, a whole new set of perks, unlocks and bits and pieces that I'm hoping everyone can enjoy. For players that have actually been playing for quite some time, they've got something new to play with, and also for new players, a much more understandable and straightforward way of unlocking perks and unlocking gameplay features. Like I say, that update is out now, so everyone's been busy playing it. It's been great to see the positive response from everyone and how the changes have meant things are a lot more understandable, and they're really enjoying seeing more little perks and bits and pieces into the game. So I'm really happy with how that's gone, and towards the middle of the month, after getting that update out and doing all the bug fixing stuff, I then got to move on to future things, so the next part of development. The first thing that I then moved on to was some of the changes and things that I wanted to do for the insects in the game, the butterflies in the game. There's some kind of awkwardness with their behaviour at the moment, and some things that I don't feel look that great. There are some issues with sort of how they fly around, how they land. Basically the whole kind of system's a little bit wonky, and so I really wanted to go in there, quickly fix it up. So that's something I did. I actually went in and essentially rewrote the very, very basic kind of AI that they have, where they fly around and then they land on things and stuff like that. I also looked at generally how they react to the player and other characters. So now they'll actually run away from you a bit more if you get too close. And similarly, if other characters are too close to them, they'll run away from those as well. I also looked at a few bugs where, for example, they would fly through houses and stuff like that, so making them a little bit more aware of the world that they're in. With the new behaviour and the way that they react to the player and other characters, this has made bug catching a little bit trickier, and that was always the intention, really, to have it it's not supposed to be super hard, but I think at the moment, in its current state, in the current live version of the game, it's a bit too easy. You can pretty much just run up to somewhere near a butterfly, press interact, and you will catch it. And that, I think, takes some of the fun away from it, because you want some sort of challenge. I don't want it to be super hard, but I don't think it should be just a really easy way of just getting a lot of money by just pressing interact when you're near an insect. So that's something that I feel's changed a little bit now with the updates that I've done. They will now actually run away from you. So you've got to be a bit more accurate when you are catching them. And I think this adds a little bit more kind of fun to the gameplay, really. With the work on the behaviour of the insects and the butterflies improved, I then moved on to something I've also been wanting to get in for a little while, and that is bug catching tournaments. So similar to where we have the fish catching tournaments, where you're tasked to catch a specific fish during the day, there will be a version of this for insects as well, for bugs. So this is something that adds just another kind of event for players to enjoy. And this time around I'm calling it a bug survey, because where Yara is kind of the bug catching character, she ended up being a lot more sort of relaxed and chilled and very sort of calm person, and I felt that that didn't really fit with her personality. That would be a bug tournament, so it's sort of repackaged essentially. We're calling it a bug survey, so where she goes around and she does sort of surveys and counts numbers of bugs and sees how things are, the wildlife is being affected and how that affects insects and things. You'll be helping her by contributing a certain type of insect to the survey that she's doing at the moment. And she sort of figured that in a way of making it fun, there will be little prizes for if you catch the most of them, if you catch a certain amount, if you catch more than others. So that's another thing that went in alongside the bug behaviour, was the bug tournament stuff. I also looked at some of the performance stuff around the collection book and how that works. There's a little bit of a stutter that happens when you catch an insect or a fish for the first time that I don't think is too bad, but it's one of those things that affects the overall perception of the game and how it feels. You want everything to be smooth, so anytime there's a kind of pause and a loading thing, that even though it's not particularly bad, it will affect kind of how you experience the game, and those are little things here and there that moving forward I'm going to be looking at addressing as well. So that makes the whole, you've caught a new insect and the camera movement and everything's a lot smoother now, feels a lot better and a bit more kind of polished and finished. Another small update that I wanted to get in, one that I've been kind of wanting when I've been playtesting the game, is kind of a deconstruction mode. It's not really a mode, but basically anything that I've crafted in the game, sometimes I craft things by mistake, sometimes I will craft too many of something, and then I'm a little bit screwed really, because I can't get those resources back. So if I accidentally make the wrong metal or something like that, for example, I won't be able to get those ores back in my backpack, and I've got a resource that I don't necessarily want. So a very nice kind of quick change that I put into the game. You can now go up to the crafting table like you would for crafting something, but there is now a new button which is for deconstructing, and that allows you to pick something craftable from your backpack, pick a number of them, and then basically deconstruct them back into resources into your backpack. So that's something that's a nice little quality of life change that I know I personally have been wanting when I've been playing the game, and it feels good to now kind of work on that. And this is sort of what's going to be happening a little bit over the coming month or so. I'm going to be focusing on quality of life stuff, things that affect the overall feel of the game, and also kind of polishing and a lot of bug fixing as well. While I'm working on these quality of life and bug fixing changes, I'm also going to be, and also actually started with this in April, but looking at putting together reference and concept art and things like that, which will be used for the Desert Island update. Now with the Desert Island update, there's a lot of content going in, so there's a whole new location, there's a whole new bunch of fish and resources and other bits and pieces. So all of these things need to be planned and they need to be prepared so that when artists join the project to build these assets, everything is in place and they can just basically look at all the concepts, look at all the reference, and go and start making content from as soon as they get on the project. So we want to make sure, because it is essentially a cost, bringing these artists on, obviously we have to pay them, so we don't want any kind of downtime where they're sort of idling or don't know what to do. So that's going to be, and was part of April's work, going through setting up these references and bits and pieces. So I'm hoping that now everything's more or less in place. There's obviously going to be a few more bits and pieces that need doing, but that means that when the artists join the project to start work on the Desert Island update, they can just get going and I can kind of leave them be and they can get on with stuff. Another small change that happened in April, which isn't directly related to the game, but I actually went in and updated the website, something that I've been meaning to do for some time, but haven't had the time to do. I looked at essentially kind of, previously it was two websites that they didn't work super well together. One was more of a kind of promotional site and the other one was more where we put all the polls for the creator challenges. And I wanted to bring those two together and try and steer the website more towards something that actually players want to go to and interact with. So my goal is, over time, hopefully, that the site will sort of transition a little bit away from being a, hey, here's the game, here's the trailer, please go buy it kind of website, into one where players can explore creations and see what the community have been doing, what they've been building, what they've been saying about the game, and having it more of a, hopefully a little bit more of a kind of like a social hub or something like that, some sort of complement to the Discord server, so that we have a central place where people can go to vote on things like the Creator Challenge, but also to maybe see more information posts. We're looking at putting together, for example, a newsletter, which would be something that we'll be hosting on the website as well, just to sort of give more updates and more information about the game and share just generally what's been going on with Hokko. The changes to the website that went in are kind of the first stage of this really. So now everything's in one place, it's all together, and it means that I or whoever else wants to add content to the website can do it in a lot more easier fashion, and we can start trying to build this this kind of nice little community online as well. So that's it for kind of the new stuff that happened in April and the finishing off of Mayor Merritt's. There was a hot fix that went out recently addressing some of the issues that we'd seen that came from the update with the inventory system and save system. The intention is there's going to be another update as well, hopefully coming out in the next week or so, which will address some more of the issues that we've seen now that players have had a bit more time with the update. So I'm fingers crossed we can get that out pretty soon and we can fix a lot of those bugs. And then I'll be moving on to and essentially continuing with the work that I'm doing on quality of life stuff and gearing up for the work that's going to be on Desert Island. That's it for this month's update. Thank you very much for watching. Please do let me know if you have any thoughts or comments, and if you're not already a member, do look at joining the Discord server. That's where we do much sort of smaller updates. That's where the community is primarily based, and you're able to share your creations and see all the amazing stuff that everyone's been building in the game. I hope you're all enjoying your time in Hokko, and I will speak to you next month.